why I bought a Jeep Gladiator in the first place, and 4,000 mile review. How's it doing? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to ROBMOTIVEJT. Real quick, if you haven't before, make sure you smash that notification bell and click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So why did I buy a Jeep Gladiator in the first place? You know, I think about this myself now and then. I've got 3 trucks, you know, the Ram 1500, the Toyota Tacoma, and the Jeep Gladiator, and we'll throw in my wife's Jeep Wrangler. Not really a truck, but another Jeep product. So in thinking about it, you know, the first reason was I wanted to start another channel. You know, I have 2 other channels, ROBMOTIVE and ROBMOTIVEFST, and I wanted a 3rd channel because I thought that I needed more to occupy myself, quite honestly. I'm a full-time YouTuber, and it gives me variety in what I can do myself because I like to focus on different things, and then also more content for me on YouTube. That's the number 1 reason. But why a Jeep Gladiator? I mean, I could have gotten anything else. I could have bought a Honda Ridgeline. Well, I got to looking, and it's mostly probably my mother's fault. You see, she really liked the Jeep Gladiator. I was kind of about it. I was really excited when they first announced it. And then I saw it and I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's okay. It wasn't something I had to have. But my mother bought one. She actually bought the one we're driving in right now. If you want to hear the whole story about that, there's videos on the channel about it. But she bought this Jeep Gladiator. I went with her. We took it for a test drive, and that's when it happened. When I drove the Jeep Gladiator, I was so impressed that I had to have one. It was a truck, it was an SUV, it was quick, it was nimble, it handled well, it had everything that I wanted, and it was unique. And that goes back to the channel, I suppose. I wanted something that was unique, not just another truck, if you will. So that was it for me. I had to have it. I love it. I love it now, and I really did fall in love with it on that test drive. And it didn't help seeing my mother drive it all the time. You know, we would go places occasionally, and I would get in the truck and ride along with her. Sometimes I would drive it, and that really sealed the deal for me. So that's why I got it, I suppose. Now, let's talk about how it's doing. I just turned 4,000 miles on the old odometer down there, and I was a bit worried. One of the only reasons that I had concern before I ever did buy the Jeep Gladiator was its reliability. Now, my fears were eased a bit because my wife has a Jeep Wrangler. It's a 2018. We bought it brand new. We actually spec'd it out and built it, and it's had no problems other than Jeep or Mopar's little weird black radio thing. I've talked about that before. It too had that issue. But no other problems, not even the stop-start or the auto-stop problem, which is, by the way, why I am in this Jeep now, this Gladiator, as opposed to the one I originally bought. So no issues with it. That calmed my fears a little bit, I think, as to how reliable it was going to be, because I didn't want to go out, buy a vehicle that was constantly going to be sitting in the shop. And I have had Jeep Wranglers in the past, and I never had any issues with those either, other than almost rolling one. I was on the freeway once, headed to work. It was wet outside in spots. It had rained, but it was drying up. You know, one of those days. I was on the freeway, coming around a big blind curve, bumper-to-bumper traffic here and there, rush hour, and I was going too fast. Probably about 70, 75 mile an hour maybe. I rounded that curve, traffic was stopped. I slammed on the brakes. It was in a turn. The Jeep actually went up on 2 wheels this way, and then it slammed back down, and I hit my head on the roll bar. That was my bad experience in the Jeep Wrangler. Didn't completely turn me off against them, but it sure did make me a heck of a lot more cautious when I was driving that thing in heavy traffic, particularly during the rain. So those were my experiences. I didn't have any trouble with them either. So reliability wasn't really a big concern. And I have to say, this Jeep has been perfectly reliable for me. I haven't had any issues with it. I assume my mother probably experienced the black screen problem that everyone seems to have, but since it was used, in essence, when I got it, I didn't get to experience that in this Jeep. So there has been nothing wrong. Now, let's talk about the auto stop feature for a minute, because I mentioned that was the big problem with why I got rid of my first Jeep Gladiator. If you didn't know, it would throw errors once in a while. The system wouldn't work, and I attribute that to a bad battery, something that I would have ultimately had replaced had I decided to keep that truck. But it would throw a check engine light, it would throw an auto stop system malfunction light, and just issues like that. You never want to see a check engine light, particularly on a brand new vehicle. Makes you start to wonder if maybe it was one of those Monday or Friday build trucks, you know? So that was a big turnoff with me. I haven't experienced that in this truck at all. And I will say that every time I get in this truck, unless I forget, I hit that button to turn the auto stop system off. I can't stand that system. For me, there's nothing worse than pulling up to a stop and having your vehicle shut off, because I immediately start to think that I've stalled, and now I'm going to be sitting in the middle of traffic trying to push that thing myself, calling a tow truck, having to screw around with the shop, on and on and on. No issues like that in this truck. Fit and finish on this truck has been, I would say, almost perfect. And it's been long enough now with all the jostling, that's hard to say, and driving around and stuff, that any panels and things that were gonna move or warp, you ever seen that? In the Tundra that I had, the two tweeter covers on the dash actually warped. They started to stick up a little bit above the rest of the dash. Just one of those little weird things, those quality things that you don't want to experience. And that truck for me was not very old. I think less than 6 months. Imagine what would have happened over time, years. Might have curled all the way up. I don't know. Just not good. No issues like that in this truck. The seats are wearing well. I do have cloth seats. I would not go with anything other than cloth, particularly if you live in a very cold or a very hot climate like I do. Nothing worse than jumping in and freezing to death on the leather, or smoking and catching on fire when it's so hot. It's just horrible. I've had leather trucks before. My previous Toyota Tacoma had black leather seats, and man, were they hot in the South Texas sun. So no issues with it. Love the truck. Still has as much power as it did before. One thing that I've noticed, and maybe it's me, maybe I've just gotten used to vehicles, but most of them always seem to have some sort of a reduction in power over time. I had a BMW that was like that. Seemed really, really quick when I got it, and then after about a year and a half, just felt sluggish, kind of slow. Haven't experienced that at all. Love it. Love it the way that it is with the power. So anyway, that is the real reason why I got the Jeep Gladiator in the first place, and a 4,000 mile review. I highly recommend the Gladiator if you're looking for something a little different, something quick and comfortable that still gives you the utility to be able to haul things in the back. Leave a comment, let me know. What's the real reason you got a Jeep Gladiator? If you did, or why are you thinking about getting one? I'd be curious to know. Again, real quick, if you didn't earlier, make sure that you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels: Rob Motive, all about my 2021 Toyota Tacoma, and Rob Motive FST, all about full-size trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.